Talk to me about your character in the film and what drew you to that character.
Well, playing Ben, he's the moral compass of the movie, and I love being the moral voice of movies I'm in.
Was that quite a difficult scenario in a movie that just had so many kind of moral dilemmas and so many messages about that?
I wouldn't say it was difficult, and it kind of sort of just happened. I was on set, and it just kind of developed into its own thing, you know.
And how did you find working with Sandra Bullock, and how did you find working with Billy Bob?
Sandra and Billy Bob were great. We, they have a rapport with each other that's just hilarious. And, when you see them together, it's a lot of fun because they'll make you laugh all day. Sandy is a pretty lighthearted person, so her energy just radiates around the set all day and make everybody laugh and have a good time.
And you filmed in 3 different locations. How much time did you spend in Bolivia?
I spent all the time in New Orleans, all the time in Puerto Rico, and no time in Bolivia. They only took like 2 people to Bolivia to do the crowd scenes.
What did you admire about director David Gordon Green's approach to the material? What's he like to be around?
His direction is like doing improv theater. It's the way he would utilize space and divvy out the lines and cut and extend and do all that stuff. It was like doing theater. I really enjoyed it.
Is that something that you're thinking, oh, actually, maybe I will do theater?
Yeah, it is, definitely.
The negative campaigning, I mean, it's obvious that's the thing that people are going to take away from this film is talking about the negative campaigning and talking about the parallels because, yeah, we've done this, we've set it there, but really it's a much broader scope of kind of talking about the way that politics are. That just, if we could just talk about the kind of versatility, I'm trying to say the word, in the themes of the film.
Well, I think the reason this movie works so well is because you can take these characters and put them in any facet of the world and it would be the same thing. Politics has become a game of selling, who can sell whose cereal you're going to buy, whose car you're going to buy, and when you buy it, why? The idea of branding someone into what the public wants him as opposed to showing who he actually is what politics is now. And that's globally. It's not just in the States. It's like everyone's a crook just for the sake of being a crook.
And so when you first read this script and you were given the script to read through, was that something that you felt quite personally engaged and thought, well, yeah, actually, this is a story I really want to be part of telling?
Definitely. When I read the script, it was more so about the character Eddie than anybody else because he's the future. I mean, he's the next generation. He's it. And when you see his innocence taken away from him and his heart broken, it's really sad. It's really extremely sad. And
it just opens that kind of real questions about democracy and that
right.
Dilemma between who's right then, the people right, or is,
the idea is the government is supposed to represent the people. So if the people, demand something, the government's supposed to do it, So I think that's something that we've gotten away from and, something that we don't appreciate anymore.
I love those films when you come away, you want to sit down and talk about it.
Right.
And it's definitely one of those.
Right.
But what kind of conversations do you think that people will have? And
I think the big thing is people are going to come away and ask the question, like I would ask myself, if I could rebrand myself, what would it be? If I can change people's perception of me, how would I do it and what would I change it to? I think that's the question about this movie. How much of it is their responsibility that they find this guy, they know he's an asshole, they get him elected as an asshole, and then he just went and does asshole stuff. So at some point in time, that has to be my character's fault. That has to be Sandy's fault.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really nice to meet you.
Definitely, same here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey